Então, estamos aqui com o Sifu Kevin pela primeira vez em Portugal. Esta oportunidade que tivemos de trazê-lo até Benavente, até à Escola Tradicional de Artes Marciais e Curativas. São 25 anos dedicados à prática das artes marciais que não podiam acabar sem termos uma presença internacional, e sem dúvida que o Sifu Kevin foi a cereja no topo do bolo, como se costuma dizer. Então, vamos passar aqui uma pequena entrevista. Sifu Kevin, it's very good to have you here in Portugal, your first time in Portugal. You've been all around Europe, Italy, Germany, but Luxembourg too, but first time in Portugal. Thank you for being here with us. I would like to start and ask you to talk a little bit about your the way you start in martial arts. So how long it was and how that happened.
Thank you, Professor. Well, I started martial arts when I was about 16 years old. It was due to pressuring from bullies and things like that. And I just decided that I didn't want anybody to control me in this way. So then I started martial arts. So I always thank the creator and the bullies for making me stronger. This has helped me in my life. And the martial arts has been very good to me. It's kept me healthy. And it's a wonderful aspect in our lives.
Great. That's a common history about people that are getting bullied and then go to the martial arts and then getting stronger. So that proves that martial arts is a way of life and a way to push us to be better. We're gonna go back to the martial arts, but since you started like that, I would like to also ask you, around the martial arts, you also evolve being a mental coach and work on wellness and health. So can you talk a little bit about that too, please?
Yes, sir. I believe that my health is my greatest wealth. And so the martial arts has helped me with that, but also I think the mindset is very important. I found that most people that are unhappy, they focus on the things that are not good in their life. And most people that are happy, they don't shut that off, but they put it far back in their mind. You know, they say, okay, I know it's there, but I'm not going to focus on it. And they focus on what they want in life, you know, what they want out of life. And I think that that's a huge recipe for success. Great. Is to focus on what you want and what you love and be appreciative. You know, I am appreciative every day of what I have in my life.
Trying to make the connection between these two aspects, we're recording this interview after a wonderful 3-hour seminar that you taught us. And at the end, one of our students asked you a question about your favorite subject, and you expressly talk about the Filipino martial arts and the Kali. Can you elaborate a little bit more about that because of that connection with neuroscience and all that?
Yes, sir. I believe that Kali is my favorite because it's one of the few arts where I can just let go. I've been studying Kali since 1975. So I've been involved in it, and I've had 5 teachers. My favorite is Guru Dan Inosanto, and I've been with him for 40 years. I went to him not for the Jeet Kune Do, but for the Filipino martial arts originally. And then later on, started training with him in Jeet Kune Do a couple years later. I think that one of the aspects of the Filipino martial arts is because it's so pattern-oriented, number one, and you continue to do it over and over, it gets in your subconscious, deeply into your subconscious. So you can release and relax and just do the Kali. They have a saying, what is Kali? You are Kali. And you become the martial art, and it becomes an extension of you. One of the things that I find very interesting about the Filipino martial arts is that I believe that it allows you to connect with your neural capabilities. And so there's a lot of brain activity going on when you're training. because it moves very fast. I'll give you an example. In my first test under Grodin, I was recorded at striking 6.5 strikes per second, 65 strikes over 10 seconds, period, with skill. That's fast. That's really no matter fast. What. And I was really a beginning level instructor at that point. So just to give you an idea of how the speed is, and the stick moves at 200 miles an hour, you have to be there in the moment. If you're distracted or anything, it's not going to work out well for you. And I think that the capabilities that you develop because of this is that you have this brain firing all the time. And they found connections with that and fighting and combating aging disease, which if you look at a lot of the older Filipino martial artists, they train way into their 80s.
Yes.
And my teacher, Grodin, will be 88 this month.
And still moving fast and sharp.
Incredible.
Incredible.
I don't see any difference between the way he moves now and the way he moved 30 or 40 years ago, to be honest. Maybe yes. A little faster back then, but that was about it. You know, everything is just fantastic. He's very precise. His timing is extraordinary. Yes.
Oh, amazing. And so how do you see the connection between the weapon training and then when we pass that to empty hands? So is there any connections there? Is there any benefits?
There's absolutely a lot of connections. It's kind of like driving a Ferrari and then when you have the stick in your hand, you're going so quick, right? And then when you put the stick down, it's like getting into a small compact Fiat. Yes. Yes. And you're just driving along, you know, everything seems slow. So if you can hit me at 200 miles an hour with a stick, your punch will never go that fast. So because of that, it kind of, you slow down a little bit and you're able to see things more clearly. I think it's extraordinary training. Years ago, when I first started training fighters, I made them all do Kali. And they'd say, you know, why are we doing this? We don't have sticks and we're not fighting with sticks. But they found that their reaction time improved, you know, and that quick twitch, fast twitch muscle reaction, and also their ability to move from one thing to the next very quickly. And perceived speed was also enhanced.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I've been more challenged all these years of practice is to help people that don't do martial arts, and even some that do, to make the connection from the attributes that we learn in the martial arts and transfer that to our day-by-day life. Yeah. So with everything that Sifu is sharing about the Kali and the rest of the arts that you practice, can you give us your thoughts about what kind of attributes and what kind of benefits we have in our day-by-day life by being a martial artist?
Well, one of the things that I think that is extraordinary is it teaches you not to limit yourself, to go outside of, you know, what your normal capabilities or your comfort zone is. You know, because we are pushed so far beyond our comfort zone in the martial arts that it becomes comfortable yes. for us. And I think that that's one thing that is extraordinary. The other thing is that it teaches you to be open and to be more creative. You are more psychologically creative in your approach. I think your temperament also is more relaxed. I think that you find other areas to solve your problems and ask questions that are pertinent to solving your problems other than just trying to be resistant against your problems. Because as we know in the martial arts, if you resist each other, someone's going to walk away and someone isn't. For sure. So understanding how to give and take, understanding the flow, and I think that those are extraordinary things that are gifts from the martial arts.
Okay. So in our school, one of the core sentences that we use is where tradition meets evolution. Mm-hmm. So we like to have traditional approaches, mm-hmm. but we look at ourselves at a school that always try to learn and evolve with the timing and everything. So my question to you is, after all these years practicing martial arts and learning from some of the best martial artists like you did, how much you have that it's yours? How much did you put from you in what you're teaching right now?
That's a very, very difficult and very an excellent question. So I think one of the things is that the more you understand about yourself, the more you start to look at where your aptitudes are and where your strengths are. And I think martial arts teaches us more about ourselves than anything, because it teaches us to meet our fears, first of all. It teaches us that we're more capable of things than we think we are. It teaches us how to make decisions under pressure. You know, where most people would fall apart, we welcome it. That pressure is a gift, because it teaches us many, many lessons. And I think those things are extraordinary. As far as for me personally, I look at martial arts on a principle base, because when you train in several different martial arts, you find that many of them do integrate, and there's a lot of similarities. Then you add what's specifically your own, which you enjoy or which you like or works for you, you know, depending on your capabilities, and that becomes your personal approach. Mm-hmm. I think that is basically what Bruce Lee was trying to find and trying to discover way back. Yeah. Right. And I think we're all, as martial artists, when we get to a point, we ask the question, there must be more. Where is it? How can I find it? You know, yeah. And of course, it's inside of us.
Yes, for sure.
That's the true gift, is it's inside of us already. And now our creativity allows it to come out, an expression. And that is the personal expression of martial arts. How much is my own and how much is others? I have no idea. I don't even try to think about that. I just do what I do. Yes, naturally.
Yes. Can you elaborate a little bit more about what you just talked about, teaching more related to concepts and principles rather than techniques or a linear teaching method, more as a circular, like principles and concepts?
Yes. So first of all, let's look at what a principle is. A principle is a law. It's a law that's outside of us. So we don't have any ability to manipulate principles. Mm-hmm. But if we break the principles, then we will be affected by the consequence. So this is principles not only of martial arts, but of life. I try to live by principles because I think that they're solid and there's something that you can always go back to. It kind of reminds me of math. Math is logical. Mm-hmm. You'll always find the answer. And in principles, it's once again, the principles don't care whether we agree with them or not. So my principle of give and take, if I share with you and you share with me, it's win-win. But if I always take from you, I'm breaking the principle. And that is win-lose. And then we have dissension, contention, right? So that's a principle of life. You get what you put into life. As you treat people, that is what you will get back. I truly believe that. So those are principles. In martial arts, you have certain principles as well. If you don't move, you're going to get hit, right? So that's an important principle. If you move with stability and your body moves in a way that you can produce energy and power, that's many different principles coming together to develop that in you. And then let's look at concepts. Concepts are ideas. So a concept is not a principle. Sometimes people get that confused. A concept's an idea. It's based in reality, but it's not really reality. There are many people that have life concepts that are not in touch with reality.
Correct.
So a concept would be, well, if I can do this with my hand, I might be able to do this with a weapon. If I can, evade somebody standing up, then how can I do it on the ground? So those are concepts that can parallel. This is where I think martial arts, sometimes people get set in their own sectors and they wear the blinders. I think that this is why it's so important to enjoy many different aspects of culturally and educationally about different martial arts. It's kind of like tasting food. If you eat the same thing all the time, what a boring life. And you will not understand what's out there. And then you might try something new and go, wow, this is incredible. Why didn't you tell me about this? Well, it's been around you your whole life, but you just didn't choose to be open about it. And this is one of the things that, with martial artists, sometimes this happens because I think they have a tendency to be a little secure in what they're doing and a little insecure about things that they don't know. Of course, you and I are a little different in that regard. We don't do that. I actually seek out things to put myself in uncomfortable positions so I can learn more and experience more. Yeah, that's how you grow. That's a growth mechanism. Yeah. But I hope I answered.
Okay, yes, for sure. Sifu, I know your schedule is open right now and you're accepting invitations. How can anybody contact you? How can we reach you in order to book eventually seminars and workshops with you?
Well, usually the email that I use is kevin@thewinningmindset.com. And my email, if something comes through and I see it, I will answer you.
Okay.
Yes.
And can you talk to us about your podcast too?
Yes. My podcast is called Mindcast. It's lessons about living a more strategic life, a more intentful life, rather than what I found is so often people float through life. And then when they get older, they go, wow, what happened to my life? I just, because they never had a direction. They never had anything and they just float through. And I think intentional living is a very important thing. What does that mean? It means, eating the right foods, getting good rest, right? Not being stressed and handling stress or understanding the benefit of what stress can do for you as opposed to embracing that stress and making you ill. I think there's a lot of things that I cover in the Mindcast that just help people to learn a more strategic approach to life. And I talk about one of the ones I'm doing right now is on habits. So our habits, most of what we do in life is habitual, but we don't realize it. And I like this saying that good habits are hard to develop, but easy to live with. And bad habits are very easy to develop and hard to live with.
That's a very good sentence, yes. Okay, so I'm going to make a connection with that, and there's a healer part of you too.
Yes, sir.
So can you talk to us about not only the type of healing medicine that you practice, but also if you see any advantage on having both ways, martial arts and healing part too?
Well, I've always believed that the fusion of East and West is very powerful because there's certain aspects of traditional Eastern medicine that are very valuable, and there are certain aspects of technology and new medicine that are very valuable. Unfortunately, a lot of people cut these. They're separate. When you blend them, you get the best of both worlds, just like in the martial arts. So I've always believed that East-West was a good blend. And as far as my approach to healing, I feel that if your body has everything that you need to heal itself. But the problem is people dump pollutants and things in their body all the time. And then that's where they have a problem, because now their body cannot heal itself. They don't get enough sleep. They spend too much energy worrying about things instead of thinking about where they want to go and what they want to enjoy. And life is a gift. And so if you think about it, if you ask 5 people, what is life? Some will say, well, life's a challenge. Life's a game. Life's a dance. They can say all different things. Well, if it's a game, that means there's winners and losers, right? Mm-hmm. If life's a war, that means there's casualties. So if you live your life like that, how are you living your life? How are you living it? You know, so I think that for me, the healing part is about function and about maintenance. And I believe that oxygen is a major player in that. And by pushing ourselves into martial arts, we oxygenate our blood, which heals us. And I think it's very powerful. Yeah.
Sifu, every time I was in your place and people ask me questions, they always ask something around what is the best thing you take from martial arts. I always say the same thing, the people. The persons I met all around the world through martial arts, that if I didn't have martial arts in my life, I did not met them. So after meeting you and having you here, I stand once more from this. It's been a pleasure to having you here and meeting you and talking to you and learning from you a lot. Just for 3-4 hours, it was outstanding, amazing.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
And I agree with you.
Thank you.
I concur.
Thank you, sir.